Shalom guys, and welcome to another Butlers Unboxed video. It's such a glare in these glasses. And in today's video is Chit Chat with Amber. In this segment, we're going to talk about when your plans for your new adventure just does not go as planned. What do you do? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and click the notification bell so you won't miss a beat. Now, let's get started. In this video, we're going to just be chatting. We're just going to go over some life updates and things like that. First life update, I did cut the locks and I feel fantastic about it. I'm excited for the new journey, and I'm excited for the new journey for my curls. So please don't forget to follow along with that, which is going to be a good one. I can feel it. Also, we have another update, and that is the bump. And we're so excited to take this journey along with our other journeys. So we got a lot going on over here. So it's kind of like an update with the RV adventure. Now, when we first decided to do this adventure, we thought we had it all planned, but we know that through life, things happen, and that's just how life goes. Now, let me start off by saying what the first plan was. The first plan was to get the truck, which we have, and then get the fifth wheel. Now, we was not sure if we wanted the Class A, travel trailer, or fifth wheel, but that is definitely going to be a whole nother video, and that is because finding the perfect fifth wheel or travel trailer or Class A or Class C is all about what you and your family are needing, what your demands are, what you can and cannot live without, and also your travel style. Being if you got little kids, someone that may have back problems, someone that would like to continue with life as the RV goes down the road, and all of that. But that's a whole nother video. So we came to the conclusion that we wanted to do a dually, and we got that. And then we also wanted to do a fifth wheel. The reason why we wanted to do a fifth wheel is because of the floor plan and the space. By the time you let out your slides, and and then you will have more space than you normally would with a Class A or a Class C or a travel trailer. Now, on top of that, most of the floor plans with a fifth wheel was right up our alley when it comes to not having the bunk beds or the bunkhouse close to the me and Xavier's living space. Just so that the kids can be on one side and we can be on another. So when it's time to go to bed and when it's time to have our separate space for that day, they can do their thing, play, color, or whatever, watch a movie. And we can watch a movie up front without disturbing them, or we can go in our room without disturbing them. And the kitchen is normally right there in the middle between both sleeping areas, which is what we feel is going to work for our family. So once we came to the conclusion that we knew that we wanted a fifth wheel, so we were like, okay, let's get the fifth wheel. Now, many of you know that our first big adventure is headed to California in April. Now, that's a long haul coming from Nashville, Tennessee, going all the way to California. That's a big haul for your first one, but I mean, we got this. We can do it. So with that being plan A, and that's honestly the only plan that we had, we came to the conclusion that the fifth wheel just will not be ready in the next 53 days. And that is because we still haven't found the one that we're wanting. And we have a lot of wants when it comes to our fifth wheel. And I can go over those with you since we're chatting. And so we knew that we wanted separate sleeping quarters for the children and for Xavier and I. we would love to have 1.5 baths. And that's because a lot of times when you're on travel days, we want to make sure that we don't always have to use a public restroom. We can just pull up to the side and walk around to the half bath, and the kids can use the restroom. We can use the restroom, maybe grab something to eat right there from the trailer without ever really stopping all the time, spending extra money to eat out. Also, without having to use, like I said, a public bathroom with every single stop. California for us is about 2,000 miles. How many bathrooms? That's a lot of public bathrooms. So having that half bath, 9 times out of 10 in the fifth wheel has its own door. So you can definitely go right to that door, use the restroom, and come right on out. So that's another thing that we definitely wanted in our travel trailer, in our fifth wheel. We wanted to make sure that we wanted a nice living room area, some kitchen. I cook, but I'm not the type that need a lot of cooking space, but we like chilling. We like family time. We like movie time. We like game time. So we want to make sure that the living area was big enough to renovate to where we can put like an L-shaped couch. So we had our reasons for wanting to go with the fifth wheel. Plus, you can get some good storage underneath space with the fifth wheel. So that's what we were looking for. We also knew that we did not want to spend an arm and a leg on our first rig, and that is because we do want to renovate. Also, being that this is our first haul on this adventure, we wanted to make sure that this adventure is right for us before we spent a lot of money on something newer. I do feel that renovating is another fun project, and we can kind of make it our own. So we knew we wanted to go with something a little older, but that was in good shape. Finding that is, it's a little harder than you think when you have a price point, and when you're also looking for those other features that you know that'll work better for your family's travel style. So with that being said, we have not found our fifth wheel that we want. Now, Mom and Dad has theirs, and we've been totally living the dream through their RV for now. And it's been fantastic. We have also found out, since they have gotten theirs, because they didn't have as many, they knew what they wanted, and being that it's just the two of them, they were not really picky, and they honestly just got blessed up and they found the perfect one for them early on. But since they have gotten theirs, we have found out that there are so many other little things that you need for a full-time RV life that we're not like, whoa. We're just like, okay, great. Let me write that down. We're going to make sure we're going to get that. We're going to make sure you get this. You got, the hitch you got to add once you get the truck. Mind you, we're paying cash for everything that we buy because we do not want to go on the road with debt. So with that being said, you have to make sure that you, I'll save that for the second plan B that we came up with, and then plan C, okay? So while helping Mom and Dad get their rig set up, we have found out there's a lot of other little stuff you have to buy, a lot of other little stuff you have to check it's just a lot of little stuff. I mean, I could try to go over it, like the hoses sometimes you need for your black tank, your gray tank, your freshwater tank. When you get a used RV, sometimes you may just want to upgrade your tubes. Sometimes it comes just fine. And then I'm picky. I'm a trinket person. So anything that helps make my life as a mom, a wife, be convenient, I'll probably pretty much buy. So like the leveler for the black tank tube when you lay it on the ground, or the gloves that you need when you're changing it. The solar alone is expensive, but we know that we want to be able to live off grid. If we can't get to a RV park at a timely manner, that's a whole nother bill. And then you got stuff you may need to do to the truck, or batteries or converters, and then you still gotta get your generator, and then you still gotta get the renovations alone. So again, we're trying to pay cash for everything. We had to be like, whoa. We know that God is possible, can do anything. But realistically, 53 days, trying to do a 2,000 mile stretch, we need to come up with another plan. So, and we're not sad about it, and it's because we want to do this the right way. We know that it's the first time, we'll still have hiccups, but we don't want to rush it to where we mess up. We still have children to provide for and to take care of and to make sure they're okay. So plan A is not going to happen in April, and that's okay. We're going to stretch it at that point out into the end of May, beginning of June. That gives us more time, and we feel comfortable with our spirits about pushing, getting our own fifth wheel ready. So I tell you how the Most High works. So we knew that we still want to go to California for Passover, for Pesach. So that's the goal regardless, whether we take our own RV or not. So I was, I'm the one that does most of the planning while my husband's at work or doing other things, with the children or whatever. So laying in the bed and I was like, well, we can just fly. We can just fly and we can just get an Airbnb, but we're still there for Passover. We're still doing what we're supposed to do, that the Most High tell us to do every year. We want to make sure we're keeping the commandments, making sure we're keeping our feast days like we're supposed to. And don't worry, guys, anything that I talk about that has anything to do with the Bible, I will leave script below. Don't take my word for anything that has to do with the Bible. You research it yourself. I'll leave a script below, and 9 times out of 10, I'll try to leave not 1, but 2 verses, because you always have to have a second witness. Okay, back on track, Amber. So I was looking up the Airbnb. The Most High put right there in the Airbnb listing a fifth wheel to rent. It was in a great price range for the days that we needed. Less than $1,000 for the time that we needed to stay in California, that's like actually less than $700 for the time. It was a beautiful fifth wheel and had the space for the kids, and it had space for me and my husband. It was on a beautiful 30-acre farm with goats that are milk goats for soap. And then she also had like a miniature horse, and then she had horses, and she had all other kind of animals, and the view in the same area that we needed to be anyway was spectacular. So I'm like, all praise to the Most High, because that just worked out perfectly. So I went on ahead and I booked the Airbnb. I'm like, I'm snagging this, because we're not the only ones traveling to California, so I want to make sure I snag this Airbnb. And it also gives us the experience in the fifth wheel with 3 kids and a pregnant lady, the experience that we need to make sure, oh, we can do this. Let's go ahead and buy this. Or this layout works out for us. Let's go ahead and change it up a little bit and buy it. So I'll praise to the Most High that there was a fifth wheel already available on Airbnb for us to try out. Yes, they had other things, but what we're looking for, Airbnb had. So I booked that. And then I went to look at flights. Now, I found flights, and when you're traveling with a 7-year-old, a 3-year-old, and he'll be 2 at that time, you have to be careful on what times you pick. I would rather do an overnight flight just because there'll be sleep anyway. But the overnight flight with a cheaper rate was putting us with a layover at 6 hours. What am I going to do with them for 6 hours overnight other than let them sleep? But then I want to sleep. It just didn't add up, because with me being pregnant, a lot of stuff changes with my eating habits, my sleeping pattern, and things like that. So I was just going to do it anyway, because it was still in a good price range. It was like $1,000. And it was still only a 9-hour trip, but there was still a 6-hour layover. How that adds up, I don't know. Don't ask me. But time changes once you get to California, so that's probably how that added up. Now, told hubby about it, and it just didn't sit right with him. Now, when you're married, you're not going to always agree, but you still want to always try to be team players. So when he was just not feeling comfortable about paying an additional $1,000, then when we got there, we had to get a rental car, and then you have to eat. And then we already got the Airbnb. He was like, babe, I don't think we're going to fly. And women in my emotional state, what do you mean? We're not going to go to California, And he was like, no, I'm not saying we're not going to go to California, but there's got to be a better way. So, we just let it go. I pray about it, and you wait for a sign. Pray about it, and you wait to see what Abiyah is going to tell you. You wait to see what God is going to tell you, because he knows a better plan than you'll always know. He'll always know a better plan than what you got in your mind, So I talked to my mom about it that next morning. And I'm like, do you have any ideas of what we can do? Our RV And I'm particular. Now, yeah, we can get the RV at the end of this month or beginning of in March, but the way I want to be comfortable, you have to remember, I homeschool. I'm always home. We're gonna be a full-time family. I need everything to be in order, only because it's for my sanity with being pregnant and still having 3 little ones that's at home with me all the time, that I still have to homeschool. I still have to cook for every day, and then we're gonna be on the road. I know that the RV doesn't have to be perfect, but for me, I need it to be in some type of order for me to function. So that's the reason why, if it's not ready, we're not gonna leave yet. Which is why we pushed it back to June, beginning of June, for the first haul. But June is when the adventure has to start, because June is our last month in the house that we are in, and we refuse to pay thousands of more dollars every month for rent. So, okay, where was I? So I talked to Mom, and I was like, do you have any other ideas? Because, you know, you're elder, your mom's older, people older than you, 9 times out of 10 have more experience, can kind of help you think things through. So she was like, well, ain't God on time? And I'm like, what are you talking about? This is why you should always just be open with your family and your brothers and your sisters and your friends. And if you need some help or if you need some advice, pray about it first, and then he'll definitely lead the right person into your area to talk to you about it and to give you the answer that you need. So this is where Plan C3 came into play. So she was like, you know, your dad, because they're taking their 5th wheel on up to California, your dad is not really comfortable driving the rig all the way up for our first, you know, trip by ourselves, just in case something happened, or, you know, he get tired, and or whatever. I mean, anything can happen on the road with the RV and the truck. He's never drove a dually before. He's never hauled an RV before. And she was saying, you know, we have the extra room. They have a whole bunk room in their RV as well, which has 3 bunk beds and a whole nother laid out couch under 1 bunk bed. She was saying, how about you guys just take your vehicle and you guys just trail with us? That way you guys still get the adventure of going through all the different states, and stopping and harvest hosting, which that's a whole nother video, harvest hosting, but it is so cool. And you guys get to see New Mexico and Arizona and everything, and the kids to get the whole shebang. You don't have to rent a rental car, because you're gonna drive what you have. That way you guys can get used to your own dually and kind of figure out how that's gonna feel for you guys. And when on travel days, you guys just sleep in the bunk room, you know, because they have their own room. And we'll just all enjoy the experience that way. And if anything happens, you know, my husband is great at fixing anything, cars, trucks, whether it's diesel or gas. So if anything ever happens, he's really good at knowing a lot about RVs and 5th wheels and all of that. So it'll help Dad feel a little more comfortable. So I'll praise the Most High when I tell you he knows better than you. So we have came to the point where we have a little more time to get our RV just how we need it to function for our family coming up on 6. Family is 6. And Mom and Dad get a little more comfort on going so far with their new rig. How awesome is that? Now, when we get there, we will go on to our Airbnb, and they'll have a little more space for their daily life in their RV while we're in California. So now this is going to be an awesome trip. I'm super excited. And this video is to chit chat with you, just to let you know we always have plans in our brains as humans, as children of God. But you will also have to remember that we should not always lean into our own understanding, because our Creator, the King of this kingdom, knows better than we do, and he will get you right every time. Now, question, do you know how you can trust that he has your back every single time? If you have an answer, definitely leave your comment below. Make sure you leave me script so that I can look it up, so that I can continue to help grow myself spiritually. But for me, and I'll leave my scripts below from what I'm about to say, but the way you can trust that Abiyah, God, will always have your back is if you're doing what you're supposed to. It's that simple. And doing what you're supposed to is following his laws, statutes, and commandments, and living a Torah-based life. Actually living the way that he wants us to live, Bible-based. If you do what he wants you to do, he will take care of the rest. I'll leave that script, and it's a script that I totally live by. And being that God cannot lie, and he said, if you follow my law, statutes, commandments, guard it with your heart, I will take care of you, and all I want you to do is live. And you have to remember, it's kind of far-fetched, but it's time for us, being that we're unboxing ourselves, to unlearn so that we can relearn that he has it all. He has the money. Even though you may think that, oh, this is not going to work, that doesn't add up. He adds up. He owns everything. He created everything, even the devil. So if you just do what he asks you to do, your Father will continue to take care of you. And that's pretty much that on that. And when you know that you're doing the right thing, you and your heart can trust, I'm going through a rough patch, but I've been doing good, so he has me. So that is my chit chat when plans don't go as planned. But always know, and I know this adventure is nowhere near over because we still don't have the rig yet, but it's going to work out perfectly, even though I can't see it yet. And that's a whole nother adventure inside of itself within this adventure. And I'm so excited to continue to share this with you guys. So let the adventure continue. Don't forget, again, like, share, subscribe, click the notification button, and it's time to unbox yourself so that you can finally live a life that you've always wanted. Until next time, guys. Shalom.